Oh my gosh, okay, finally. Alright. So, I've been trying so hard to get this to work. So for whatever reason, my better mic, my headphone mic, is not working at the moment. I cannot get it to work for this device. It's driving me insane. So right now we're using the system microphone for my computer. It's not great. It's even worse than my other already shitty mic. But you know what? It's something. So we're going to go with that. So I had this entire segment already uh recorded and everything, but I didn't have it ready to play because I apparently recorded an entire silent 26 minutes. So we're going to redo it, everything. And it's fine. It wasn't my best video out of, the two that I have right now, but like I wasn't very high energy or anything. So I think it might not be horrible to wake up and survey our surroundings again. Let's figure out what the hell that all was. All right. Re-examine yourself and surroundings. Unlike last time, you can't hear anything coming down the hall. You take a moment to calm down, think, and explore the room in more detail. You make a series of minor discoveries. You have no obvious scars or wounds, though you vividly remember the pain of several hundred tiny punctures before you passed out and apparently underwent some sort of surgical procedure. There was nothing wrong with you externally, but there was a sharp sensation every time you breathed inwards. The red button appears to be analogous to the call nurse button in a legitimate medical facility. You probably don't want to call this nurse. The sink seems to run either freezing cold water or scalding hot phlegm. Naturally. The picture you smashed has been replaced by art. There is nothing remarkable about the paper on the wall behind it. The cabinets and drawers are stuffed mostly with small, irrelevant items: erasers, buttons, some plastic army men, chewed pencils, candy wrappers, basically garbage. The tools and gadgets on the wall are empty plastic shells. Useless, though the Game Boy, which seems to have been glued where a heart monitor was supposed to go, contains a plain gray cartridge with Dr. Murio written on it in marker. It is also an empty shell. All of the band-aids are used. Every single one appears to be blotched with dried blood and yellow smears of pus, carefully rewrapped and put back in the box. The tissues, likewise, are stiff to the touch. The sanitizer on the wall smells like bile. It also moves a little. Something inside the waste cabinet thumps every few moments and seems to emit a dim glow. It shows no sign of being able to escape, whatever it is. Let's head out. You decide to cooperate a little more with the weird foreign ideas that keep coming to you, even if they might seem like ridiculous nonsense. That at least seems to be how this place works anyway. You may as well adapt if you're going to get anywhere. You give in to the bizarre compulsion to speak to the garbage bin, but it doesn't answer. On your way out, you leave one of the plastic army men in the middle of your bed because that suddenly feels like a thing to do. Why not? Of all the possibilities, you think maybe you might want to talk to that depressive what's-it again. It was at least speaking coherently. Maybe it will actually answer questions. Sad purple thing. We're back. Oh, it's you again. I take it you're here so you can leave again in disgust. That seems to be the only reason anybody bothers to visit. I think they make a game of it. I don't know if they're keeping score, but I've been doing it for them at least. Wait, you're still here? That's a new record. I think I got a whole paragraph out this time. I take it from your bizarre habit of continuing to listen to me that you are a masochist. I do hope you're enjoying this encounter. At least that'll make one of us. Engage conversation. We got off to a bad start, Mr. What do I call you? You don't know a spleen when you see one. Of course not. Nobody does. Not like they recognize a brain or a heart or one of those other smarmy vitals. Did you even know what your spleen does? For that matter, did you even know where it was? Unlikely. Even if you did, it isn't information you would ever actually need in your short, ultimately trivial biostate. The most anyone ever thinks about spleens is how remarkably unremarkable they are among the major organs. Okay, spleen. So where am I? And please be more specific than the hospital. Oh, so you talk to the nose. Dreadful thing. I suppose I have to envy its blissful ignorance, though I'm afraid I must admit what it told you is probably at least accidentally correct. The hospital is the hospital. That's just the way things work. I realize you think things work an entirely different way, that there's such thing as different places, and I understand why you would think that. I mean, again, I must admire such a peace. Oh, I completely skipped a line. Whoopsie. That's exactly how things would appear to be set up to a simple gray zoner. Again, I must admire such a peacefully naive outlook. I'm afraid it's all well beyond your capacity to understand, or at least explain through communicative mechanisms you would actually perceive. I have enough of a spleen ache as it is, thank you. Fine, whatever. Listen, I woke up here and have no idea what's going on, and I just want to find my son. A human being, like me, just small. Do you have any idea where they might have taken him? Oh, sure. You don't lie on your back and silently resent the color of the ceiling as much as I have without picking up on all the latest news. All those visitors I don't have are always not filling me in on juicy gossip. Just let me open up my little book where I write down all the most important things I didn't see, hear, or care about while I stared at the walls contemplating the futility of being. Look, just give me a guess? A ballpark idea? Oh, you were serious. How quaint. I'm afraid you'll have to ask Phage if you can actually get out of him anything out of him that isn't bloated twaddle. It all depends on why they actually brought you both here. I'll confess I did at least hear some babble about a lockdown quarantine. Obviously nothing I'm important enough to be a part of, but His Majesty Professor Bowties was acting even less coherent than usual. Never a good sign. Not that anything is ever actually a good sign. I'm pretty sure they stopped making good signs back around the time they invented existing. At least that's my professional opinion as an involuntary exister for almost the entire period that I've been conscious. Okay, I got attacked by what I think is a nurse. Do you know what that was? Oh, don't get me started on the nurse. Whoops, I started. No helping it now. Dreadful thing. No conversational skills, no pants. Never actually there when you need her unless you've got something really critical to treat. Something nice and juicy like creeping fever or scream warts or malaria, one of the few good ones a spleen gets to worry about. Where was I? Ah, yes, the nurse. I do believe she's on orders to keep anyone from leaving the exam ward while the hospital is on alert. Don't bother trying to outrun her. She may look almost as awkward, slovenly, absent-minded, and devoid of taste as yourself, and she is all of those things, but she can also move exactly as fast as she wants. If you're thinking of having a go at her with that toothpick of yours, I'm loath to admit that the results would be far worse for you than for her. As fleetingly amused as I'd be by the spectacle, you'd be lucky if they cared enough to put your skin back on. I get the idea. So can I ask what you're here for? Is there something I can do for you? And they tell me nothing's technically wrong with me, and they're right. Nothing's ever wrong enough for anyone to care. If I had something terminal, of course, the nurse would be waiting on me hand and splue gab. Attention like that might even offer some brief distraction from the crushing tedium of being me. Well, I did have this idea earlier that we could switch rooms and use the call button to. Wouldn't work. The nurse would know I wasn't the one who pressed it, and it was the one. And if I was the one who pressed it, she would know I was no sicker than the last 65,000 times I tried to get her attention. Here I am, spleen the size of a. Well, the size of myself in any sense, and they've got me on bed rest and fluids for my depressed functionality. Call that patient satisfaction, because I don't. Give me a second. Okay, cool. I just wanted to check something. All right, moving on. Continue conversation. So, do you want me to injure you? Oh, you can run me through with the shredder if it would amuse you enough, sure. But while many would find an experience fair, I cannot speak. But while many here would find such an experience fairly entertaining, I'm afraid I'd personally feel no better or worse in any number of pieces. I'm an adult, after all. I'm sure you outgrew the plebeian thrills of dismemberment by the time you finished your pupation, or whatever it is you multi-parters do. The nose had gas pills. Would that, help? That wouldn't do a thing for me. All I can really hope for around here is a good solid blood disease. Not that that's even not that there's even any unique to a spleen. Now, no, you get a blood disease, the whole system starts to shut down, doesn't it? The last thing anybody talks about what happens to is what happens to your spleen. I think I struggled with this one last time too. I don't know what it is. Even if you need a splenectomy, they don't even bother giving you a new one. They don't have to. Waste of money. You can't even really die just from a lack of spleen. Even the appendix got a better deal. At least that can explode. What if you had some of the things I saw on those eyeballs in the other room? That's not even what they're here for. That's just another of their insufferable little gripes. A mundane infestation like that is hardly worth a nurse's time, though it would be almost as tedious as answering your banal inquiries, if it would please you to make yourself an even bigger source of irritation than you've already been. Please go for the record. I haven't nearly enough things to bore me right now. Change of subject. Just who exactly is Dr. Phage? Ugh. Is that it? No, that was me realizing that you were still talking. To actually answer your question, ugh. Do you need a hug? Yes, please, crush me to your greasy fat sacks in the suffocating embrace of your fuzzy meat branches. Clearly, the one thing I was missing all this time was a sticky layer of congealed sweat. What a thoughtful offer. Kay, thanks for just being an asshole instead of trying to kill me, I guess. Check out the spine again. You leave the spleen alone for now and decide to revisit the spinal column. He said he had stuff for sale. Maybe he can give you something of some use that won't give you eye tumors or anything. The spine sounds as though it has continued talking the entire time you were gone. By now, you'll receive one ham-space brand disappearing, reappearing collector's tote with compartments for approximately 10 distinct concepts of any weight and volume. Do not attempt multiple concepts per compartment. Hammerspace Incorporated and its subsidiaries cannot be held responsible for spatial prolapse, vector leakage, or code intrusion within known perception layers. All right, already. What are you selling? What are you buying? The spine's briefcase unlocks and opens all on its own. Browse wares. So, hamburger, obviously. Sheldon from the My Little Pony movie. Happy Wart. Yeah, that's lots of fun things. These savings won't last. Some of the indispensable products offered by the spinal column include a reeking, moldy gym sock, an incredibly stale, hardened donut, a dried clam glued to a champagne cork with too many googly eyes, an odd rubber dog bone, somehow still shiny and slick with fresh saliva, one of those drinking bird novelties, sans the legs, a jar of the plastic rings you tear off of milk cartons. Do those have a name? They're all the same color, and there seems to be a little bit of liquid in the bottom. It smells like formaldehyde. A very old and dirty iron with no cord. A box that says, Happy Warts! A gun, which on closer inspection is unloaded and has no trigger. A pill bottle with a picture of a crab louse on it. A cheap kid's meal toy of a hamburger strangling a chicken carcass. You fuzzily remember a commercial for this one. You press the hat and the arms spin around, emitting the sound of a braying donkey. The place that sold these disappeared from your area as abruptly and mysteriously as it appeared. I really should read Hamburger on here. It does give a tiny bit of context for all the references. It's vaguely like when you get like a Jailbreaker Problem Sleuth reference in Homestuck. Like, it's not necessary to understand Awful Hospital, but like Bogleach does reference back to his old works, and unlike in Homestuck, uh, those old works are actually canon to the Noisy Tenet universe, in so much as canon means anything in either comic, but you know how it is. An assortment of even more useless miscellaneous rubbish, including a broken slinky, a kitchen sponge, a clown nose, give, many pieces of paper, shreds of cardboard, leaves from fake plants, and chewed gum. Great. Engage conversation. So, what do you accept as payment exactly? Please don't say something gross like bile. Oh, for a limited time only, all our products are as low as a meager 5600cc. Any type or combination of types accepted. Oh, Blood, super. So what's in the pill bottle? Half-season ectoparasites are no laughing matter. Don't let a fashion faux pas ruin your image when all you need is one simple, single-dose topical treatment. I think I roughly understand. What's happy wart? Papilloma looking drab and lifeless. Liberal application of ViroCorp Happy Wart will have them erect and proliferating again right before your eyes. Verifiably voluminous verrucas on your next outbreak your next outbreak is on us. Got anything for an anthropomorphic garbage bag problem? If you're tired of that pesky biological waste refusing to stay dead, what you need is this state-of-the-art, one-of-a-kind, limited edition marvel of technology we don't have. This ever so helpful answer is punctuated by the sudden sound of a large audience oohing with impressed awe. You choose to ignore it. You can't think of any reason to inquire about any of the other items, especially when they all cost at least the amount of blood found in the entire average adult human body. Let's look for blood. Try the blood stain? You got this funny feeling that something might work out for you if you help all these gross body parts with their gross problems, but you apparently need blood to buy anything out of the spine's ridiculous garbage store. You don't want to use someone who saved your life as money, but you think maybe the stain could possibly maybe offer some pointers on the subject? Go fishing. Oh, okay, yeah, this makes sense. The blood is too old and dry to do anything with anyway. Talk to the spleen again. Maybe take him with you? Ugh. Me too. Actually, he's not that bad. I mean, he's insufferable if I had to deal with him IRL, but like, I don't know. I like funny whiners in comics. What about the skull guy? Hey, yeah, that thing was bleeding all over the damn place. Hmm. The deliriously excited speed demon has moved almost 6 inches since you were last here. It certainly explains why the blood trail looks so ancient and probably useless to you. But the fresh stuff is oozing constantly out of the brain itself. How to collect it, though? Could it even have enough? What if you assembled all of these guys into a complete human? I'm sadder now. It wouldn't work, but it's the first thought you've had that made you feel a little better. You'll take any humor you can get right now. You'll get back to business soon enough. Take the entire skull to the spine. You can't afford to waste time squeezing blood into gloves or tiny pill bottles or something. You're gonna just go ahead and... Oh no, it's dripping. Oh god, why didn't you gather it up in the sheet or something? Ugh, you can't just walk because it's dripping so much, but you can't even really run very fast or it'll get on your... Why did it go completely silent? Make an offer. The skull still seems to be in some sort of trance or something, occasionally emitting something like a tiny contented sigh. You have no idea what's going on there, but it's still dribbling cash all over the floor, so you ask if it's at least enough to buy those louse pills. Little voices are telling you that those are what you need the most. You certainly know a good deal when you see one. Nothing gets past you. Are you sure you're not in the biz? Your purchase includes 2, that's right, 2, absolutely free bonus gifts, including 1 Hammerspace brand disappearing, reappearing, compartmentalized collector's tote, and 1 secret bargain hunter special. Items received. Even while watching, you are somehow unable to determine how the hovering spinal column hands you the tote bag or drops your purchase into it. When you look inside, you perceive 10 compartments of infinite size occupying the same space simultaneously. You are under the impression the human mind either just wouldn't process this sort of thing at all, or would go mad from the attempt, but it turns out it just sort of tickles a little. Your bonus gift was an old dirty can of aerosol cheese, half empty. You are momentarily alarmed when you turn to leave and the entire tote bag seems to vanish. The instant you actually want it, however, it rematerializes over your shoulder. Use louse treatment on eyeballs. You can only fuzzily remember or comprehend why, but something tells you to help out those eyeballs who were swarming with the things you don't really want to think about right now. They didn't look like lice, but you're compelled to use the bottle with the louse on it. With the cap removed, it appears to be more like a salt shaker than a pill bottle. Oh, that's the stuff. I can't thank you enough. I feel better already. It's interesting how you're able to hear the way words are spelt in this place. The stuff you shook out of the bottle is moving around an awful lot. Meanwhile, fine, fine. We'll check on it since you know so much better than I do all of a sudden. I'm only the head practitioner around here with the single most esteemed medical certificate I've ever invented, but what do I know, right? Miser and Phage. There, see? Not only is it still behaving itself in bed, not at all being a huge liability, it's even getting smaller, just like I knew it would. That's its healing process in action. I wrote a paper on it, peer-reviewed it myself. Now let's just let it get its rest before it starts shooting at us. I swear, sometimes you're a bigger worrywart than my last intern, and she was a big wart with anxiety disorder. If you need me for a real problem you didn't make up, I'll be in my office peer reviewing my latest groundbreaking discoveries. You hear the two monstrosities part ways down the hall, and the sound of two different doors shutting. This is the first time I've noticed her in the eights behind the curtain. Like, this is the first time I've noticed that. That's actually really clever. Use the magnifying glass again. You really don't want to, but you have to. You have to know. Oh. Can you believe they just kept prescribing me this junk? Throw it out for me, will ya? Received. Deadstone Fogger. Take Fogger to the nose. Wasted! What? Oh, that's it. Give it here. Give it. Take the gas pills. I was over my gas long ago. You're not sure why a treatment for kidney stones comes in a Fogger, and you don't really want to. But you leave it with the nose, who seems extremely pleased. Received gas medication. Okay, apparently Discus updated terms of service. That's new. Distraction. Now, with that out of the way, the puke guy obviously needed more of these gas pills, and maybe he has something that. Hey! Oh no, now what? It wants something else, doesn't it? Or something's wrong. Ugh, maybe you're wasting your time helping these gross monsters. I hope you find your little you. Take gas pills to the stomach. Alright, there were tons of gas pill bottles in the barf things room. You're still not completely certain why you're doing all this, but maybe you can get one of these things to call the nurse, like the spleen guy was talking about. Or maybe if you make them all happy enough, the nurse will quit guarding the hall. Something has to give. Either way, though, you're definitely beginning to feel sorry for these whatsits who knows how long they've been wallowing around this dump. This is the one whose voice I can't remember what I did. So tasty! Give tasty! You toss the gas pills onto the thing's bed from a safe distance. It immediately opens them and shakes them all into its mushy body. It begins to bubble and swell. Tasty, so tasty! Get out of there. You quickly duck out of room 2 and into the bloodstained still vacant room next door. I don't want to make a vomit noise right now, actually. Obtained. Oh, wait, sorry. You're glad you put on those rubber gloves as you gently pick a small object out of the steaming regurgitation. Obtained instant plasmidide. Dr. Kulex's instant plasmidide. Give the spleen malaria. Well, what do you know? Malaria. I guess you're theoretically almost marginally not quite as useless as you almost entirely are. I'd even briefly entertain the possibility of expressing some sort of gratitude if I didn't know this would benefit you so much more than the paltry satisfaction I can glean from it. Trust me, that's the kindest thing I've ever had to say about anything, really. You're officially the least intolerable thing I've ever had the displeasure to endure exchanging trite vapidities with. You should be very proud that literally everything else is actually more terrible than you are. It's a very impressive distinction. I suppose I should at least inform you that it will take the nurse approximately 1.5 seconds to get in here once I press the call button. I'll give you a few bonus seconds to hide in another room, if only so I don't get any of your spinal fluids spattered on me should she catch you here. If they smell anything like the rest of you, it might even negate the entertainment value. Let's hide in the opposite room. You rush to the room across the hall, hoping the gooey eyes don't mind staring at your backside while you peek through the edge of the curtain, finally getting a good look at the thing that attacked you earlier. Apparently, what passes for a nurse around her here. I love her so much. It looked directly at you. Apparently, the spleen is still taking priority or something. You can hear a lot of activity from its room. Get out of the exam hall fast. She seems to know you're here anyway, so you don't bother sneaking around. You storm out of the exam room and run down the hall, nearly running yourself through. And that is where we're going to leave it for this time. Or at least here, actually, give me a second. I'll check the archive real quick. Yes, that is the end of this section. So, yeah. We'll figure out what the hell that was next time, maybe. If such a thing could be construed as possible in this place. Bye bye. Thank you so much for watching. I'm still a little new to this, so forgive any random me not knowing what the hell to say sometimes. But I'm really excited to get going. Once we get far enough in that I can actually start talking about Awful Hospital, like, without dealing with the complex dance of trying to avoid spoilers, I promise I have a lot of thoughts on this comic. But yeah, for now, that is where we will leave it. So thank you guys, and I hope to see you in the next one. Aspen out.